What if I told you that improving by just 1% every single day doesn't make you 3 times better after a year? It actually makes you 37 times better. It sounds like magic, but it's just math. Most of us think that to change our lives, we need to make some massive, earth-shattering move. We think we need to quit our jobs, move to a new city, or overhaul our entire personality overnight. But the truth is much quieter, much smaller, and infinitely more powerful. We are going to dive into a method that completely flips the script on self-improvement. It's not about having superhuman willpower or endless motivation. It is about understanding the biology and psychology of how your brain works to build good habits and break bad ones. It's about the compound interest of self-improvement. Let me introduce you to a guy named Albert. Albert is a smart guy living in Bangalore. He has big dreams. Every New Year's Eve, Albert sits down with a notebook and writes down massive goals. This year, he tells himself, I am going to lose 20 kilograms, I am going to read 50 books, and I am going to launch my own business. January 1st rolls around and Albert is on fire. He wakes up at 5 a.m. He goes to the gym and runs until his lungs burn. He comes home and forces himself to read for an hour instead of scrolling through Instagram. He works late into the night on his business plan. He does this for 3 days. By day 4, his legs are sore. He's tired. His boss yells at him at work, and when he gets home, the last thing he wants to do is read a heavy nonfiction book. He orders a pizza, opens Netflix, and tells himself, I'll start again on Monday. Monday comes and goes. 2 weeks later, Albert feels like a failure. He thinks, I just don't have the discipline. I'm lazy. He looks at his successful friends and thinks they were just born with some special gene that he lacks. But Albert is wrong. The problem isn't Albert. The problem is his system. He is trying to change his life by focusing on the result, the weight loss, the business, the finished books. He completely ignored the tiny daily processes that actually get you there. He was trying to push a boulder up a hill using only brute force, instead of building a machine to lift it for him. This brings us to the core philosophy of what we call atomic habits. An atom is a tiny, microscopic building block, but it contains immense power. Habits are the same. Let's look at the British cycling team. For 100 years, they were mediocre. Actually, they were worse than mediocre. They were so bad that bike manufacturers didn't even want to sell them bikes because they didn't want to be associated with losers. They had won almost no gold medals in a century. Then they hired a new performance director named Dave Brailsford. He didn't say, we're going to win the Tour de France tomorrow. He believed in the aggregation of marginal gains. He looked for 1% improvements in everything. They redesigned the bike seats to be slightly more comfortable. They rubbed alcohol on the tires for better grip. They even hired a surgeon to teach the riders how to wash their hands properly so they wouldn't get colds. They painted the inside of their transport truck white so they could spot dust that might degrade the bike performance. Small things, things that nobody else bothered with. 5 years later, the British cycling team dominated the Beijing Olympics, winning 60% of the gold medals available. In London, 4 years later, they set 9 Olympic records. They went from the laughingstock of the world to the greatest cycling team in history. They didn't do it by trying to be 100% better overnight. They did it by being 1% better in 100 different ways. This leads us to the first major lesson. Forget about goals, focus on systems. Albert focused on the goal, losing 20 kilograms, but goals are for people who care about winning once. Systems are for people who care about winning repeatedly. If you're a coach, your goal is to win a championship. Your system is how you recruit players and how you practice every afternoon. If you completely ignored the scoreboard and just focused on having the best practice possible every single day, would you still win? Probably. As the saying goes, the score takes care of itself. If you're having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you. The problem is your system. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Now, how do we actually build these systems? We have to change our identity first. Most people try to change the outcome. They say, I want to stop smoking. So when someone offers them a cigarette, they say, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. It sounds reasonable, right? But think about the psychology. That person still believes they are a smoker who is trying to be something else. Compare that to someone who refuses the cigarette by saying, no thanks, I'm not a smoker. It's a small difference, but it changes everything. It signals a shift in identity. The goal isn't to read a book, the goal is to become a reader. The goal isn't to run a marathon, the goal is to become a runner. Your habits are how you cast votes for the person you want to be. Every time Albert goes to the gym, even if it's just for 20 minutes, he casts a vote for, I am an athlete. Every time he writes one page, he casts a vote for, I am a writer. Eventually, you don't need willpower because you are just acting like the person you already believe you are. So, how do we get these habits to stick? We use the 4 laws of behavior change. The first law, make it obvious. Most of our bad habits are reactions to our environment. You eat cookies because they're sitting on the counter. You check your phone because it buzzed in your pocket. If you want to build a good habit, you have to design your environment to make the cues obvious. Let's say you want to practice guitar. Don't keep the guitar hidden in the closet in its case. Put it on a stand in the middle of your living room. If you want to drink more water, fill up water bottles and place them all over your house. Visual cues are the most powerful catalyst for our behavior. You can also use a technique called habit stacking. This is a special formula. You say, after current habit, I will new habit. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. You are piggybacking the new habit onto an old one that is already hardwired into your brain. You don't have to find time, you just have to find the slot in your current routine. Conversely, if you want to break a bad habit, make it invisible. If you can't stop playing video games, unplug the console and put it in the closet after every use. If you check social media too much, leave your phone in another room while you work. Out of sight, out of mind. The third law, make it attractive. We are driven by dopamine. It's the chemical in our brains that creates desire. Interestingly, dopamine spikes when we anticipate a reward, not just when we get it. That's why the idea of Christmas morning is often better than opening the presents. To make a habit stick, we need to make it attractive. We can use temptation bundling. This means you pair an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Imagine you love listening to true crime podcasts, but you hate exercising. You make a rule. I am only allowed to listen to my favorite podcast while I am running on the treadmill. Suddenly, you look forward to the run because you want to hear the end of the story. You're using the thing you love to pull you through the thing you resist. We also imitate the habits of the people around us, the close, the many, and the powerful. If your best friend eats junk food every day, you probably will too. If you want to get fit, join a group where being fit is the normal behavior. When you join a tribe, your identity shifts to match theirs. The third law, make it easy. This is where our friend Albert messed up. He tried to do too much. Human nature follows the law of least effort. We naturally gravitate toward the option that requires the least amount of work. If your gym is 20 minutes out of your way, you won't go. If it's on your commute home, you might. You need to reduce the friction for good habits and increase friction for bad habits. The most powerful tool here is the 2-minute rule. It states when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. For example, read before bed becomes read 1 page. Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes take out my yoga mat. Run 3 miles becomes tie my running shoes. You might think, what's the point of reading 1 page? That won't get me to 50 books a year. But the point isn't the reading. The point is mastering the art of showing up. You cannot improve a habit that does not exist. You have to establish the routine before you can optimize it. Once you put on your running shoes and step out the door, that's the 2-minute rule. It is much easier to keep running. The hardest part is starting. Make the start incredibly easy. On the flip side, make your bad habits hard. If you want to stop watching TV, take the batteries out of the remote. If you want to stop overspending, freeze your credit card in a block of ice. Literally, force yourself to work for your bad habits and you will do them less. The fourth law, make it satisfying. We are wired for instant gratification. We want the cookie now. We want the likes now. The problem is that bad habits usually feel good now, but bad later. Good habits often feel difficult now, but great later. To get a habit to stick, you need to feel successful immediately. You need a reward.
One of the best ways to do this is using a habit tracker. It can be as simple as an X on a calendar. Did you write today? Put an X. Did you work out? Put an X. This does 3 things. 1, it's obvious. You see the calendar. 2, it's attractive. You want to keep the streak alive. And 3, it's satisfying. It feels good to cross off that box. It is visual proof that you are the type of person you want to be. There is a simple rule for this. Never miss twice. Life happens. You will miss a workout. You will eat an entire pizza. That's okay. That is a mistake. But if you miss the second day, that is the start of a new bad habit. If you miss one day, get back on track immediately. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be consistent. So, here is the truth about success. It isn't about a single defining moment. It isn't about being a genius. It is about the slow, steady accumulation of tiny improvements. It's about rearranging your environment so the good choice is the obvious choice. It's about making your habits so small and easy that you can't say no. It's about finding satisfaction in the process, not just the prize. Think about a stone cutter hammering away at a rock. He hits it 100 times without a crack showing. Yet at the 101st blow, the rock splits in two. It wasn't the last blow that did it. It was all the ones that came before. Your work is not wasted. It is being stored. You are building potential energy. Keep hammering. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and start building your own atomic habits today. Which tiny change are you going to start with? Let me know in the comments. Hi, if you liked our video, please click the like button. If you want to ask us something, type it in the comment box. If you want to stay updated with our latest upcoming videos, please subscribe to my channel.